Right, so I guess I thought I had done this one, but I only had set it up. Got very confused. So these are absolute value equations. Now, when we do absolute value equations, there's some things to remember is that we need to isolate the absolute value. We need to separate into two equations with no absolute values. And we usually have two answers. And then we solve each part separately. Notice I made a little absolute value graph on the right, and notice they're always V's, and they cross the x-axis in two places, usually. I mean, the vertex could have been there, so it would have only been one, or it might not have crossed at all if it was above. But most of the time, the absolute value equations, they get two equations, two answers. So when I look at this, when I look at example one, the way I do it, and I don't know how your teachers in high school did it, we say, or I say, either x minus 2 is equal to 7, because the absolute value of 7 is 7, or x minus 2 is equal to negative 7, because the absolute value of negative 7 is also 7. Notice I don't mess with the inside, I just mess with the outside. So now I add 2, so x is equal to 9, or on the other side, add 2, x is equal to negative 5. Rarely are they plus and minus the same number. So usually you have this, one number and then another number. One could be positive, they both could be positive, they both could be negative. It doesn't really make any difference. So this is what we're going to be doing. So x is either equal to 9 or negative 5. All right, so this one I need to isolate my absolute value. So I add 5 to both sides. So I get the absolute value of 2x minus 1 is equal to 2. Now, that 2x minus 1 is trapped inside the absolute values. So don't try to do any algebra until you make two separate equations. And you say either 2x minus 1 is equal to 2 or 2x minus 1 is equal to negative 2. And then I solve each of them and I get two different answers. So I add 1 to both sides. I get 2x is equal to 3. So x is equal to 3 halves. Or this one, I add 1 to both sides. And I get negative 1 is equal to 2x. Divide by 2. X is equal to negative 1 half. So I get either positive 3 halves or negative a half. And here's one where we have to isolate again. I subtract 5, I subtract 5. I get the absolute value of 3x minus 2 is equal to negative 2. And I say to myself, wait a minute, I'm trying to be tricked here. The absolute value of anything is never equal to negative 2. So right here I quit and I say no solution, because an absolute value cannot equal a negative 2. The inside could be negative 2, but the absolute value itself cannot equal a negative 2. Those are always positive. So I say no solution. And I think there's one more example. Nope, no more examples. All right, that's it. That was short and sweet. So again, the inside is equal to the positive number or the inside is equal to the negative number. And we don't usually have to worry about checking because usually these are straightforward and pretty simple. No variables on both sides, so we don't really have to worry about any of that. So, all right, this was